on the computer, rather. Okay, folks, well, welcome to this Go for Diamond webinar this evening. And this evening is actually a very, very important session. We're going to be talking about how to be more effective telling your story. Now, in light of the information I'll be passed on, due to copyrights, I will not be recording the video. So once the video is taking place, I will actually stop the recording. And then once we're finished the video, the interaction that we'll be doing with the team, then I will be reinitiating again. And now, Tammy, I realize that you have been muted. I apologize for that. Let me just put you into the co-host and then you can unmute yourself. Just want to confirm that, Tammy. Okay, perfect, excellent. So what we'll do here, and here's the protocol. And instead of trying to repeat in our own version of what Pat Quinn is talking about, I thought it would be much, much better to hear it from him directly. Okay, the video is about 28 minutes and it's very, 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 very well done. And I hope that you do take the time to look at this information. I really recommend you take the time, take notes, and really kind of focus on what he's saying, because I know what it is with webinar. Because listen, I'm guilty of it too sometimes, right? Webinars going on, I get busy and I do something and I come back and you know what I mean? Don't do this for that. It's very important that you focus. And here's what I would love to do after, and Tammy will give you an opportunity to share in a minute, is once we're done the session, Tammy and I we might be adding a few things, but I'd like for you to post either your comments, questions, or anything that you may feel might be helpful for you, or questions or anything that you may need to untangle in the comment section. And if there's nothing that you want to say, that's totally fine too. I just want to make sure that that would be a good protocol to use. And then I would love for after the actual training, and don't feel obligated to do this at all, it's more for you, is some of you have been using your story for quite a while. And I'd love for you to share your story as an example for others. And maybe Tammy and I can give you some pointers. And this could be a really good opportunity for you to kind of get some really kind of positive feedback or constructive, I don't want to say criticism, but constructive information, let's leave it as that, to kind of help you modify your story. Because your story is the foundation. I am not kidding. There are a lot of people that become very, very rich in this industry because of their story. Obviously, it's backed up by a wonderful product, the science behind it, the opportunity, the trips incentives. Obviously, this kind of envelopes the whole package. But your story is what's going to get people to look towards you. So back to you, Tammy, if you want to add anything before I start the video.
Absolutely. I mean, we're all taught in this industry that stories are what sell, and the facts will tell. And a lot of people come into our industry and, they call it verbal diarrhea. They're so excited and they start sharing about the company, about the science, about this and about that, and not making it about the person who's sitting in front of you, which is the most important person, right? It's that connection that you're making, that relationship building that you're doing. And we've all done it. So, we've all grown from experience of every time we connect with somebody. It's always a different conversation, right? So I think it's really important that you you nail down your story, but your story will change every time you talk to somebody. And we'll kind of get into that a little bit, because at the end of the day, it's about the need of your prospect and gearing your story toward their need. And let's just let Pat Quinn take it away, because I think that he did a fabulous job on really nailing down the importance of how to pull it all together.
I totally agree. And Tammy, just before we do this, I'd like to kind of focus on this particular aspect. Sorry, these are all my notes for the call this evening. In reference to this bonus, now on the chat section, and I cannot stress this enough, folks. I cannot stress this enough. Many of you have been in events like, max events and maybe other events and, personal growth trainings. And when you add the flights and you had the hotel and the meals and everything else over and above that, and the things you buy when you go shopping, by the time you come back home, you spend a whole lot more than $295. This is the cost to be part of this GoPro virtual event that Eric Worre is hosting. And this is the link here. You noticed it probably on the chat section. If you have not took advantage of that, I cannot stress this enough. Folks, tell me, I mean, none of us earn anything from promoting this other than the fact that it might help you. I know when I say it might, I know it will help you in a big, big, big way. It's very, very important that you understand the importance of those events. I don't believe there is anybody in the world that has successfully created a community of networkers that size worldwide. And over and above that, and today is the last day that you can actually get all of this information. I mean, all of this bonuses, which is what it's worth over here, $4,530 for absolutely free. After tonight, I don't know what the cost will be. Maybe some of you know, I don't remember, but it will be a cost to have access to that. It is absolutely free. And the event is going to be December 11, 12, and 13. And folks, I understand that $295 sometimes, and it's US, okay, it's US dollars, but this will probably be one of the best investment you can invest into yourself. This kind of industry, you can make millions. And I understand the skepticism. I appreciate that. I used to be there. Trust me, I bought the t-shirt and I worked for a long time before you knew of our success. And the reality, folks, is I spent a lot, and that's what Tammy meant earlier. We have spent a lot of money on ourselves, on personal growth. I cannot stress this enough. $295 for this event, including all of these bonuses, ends tonight, midnight. Now, keep in mind, it is midnight Pacific time, so it's 3 a.m. Eastern time. Sorry, Tammy, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's $297.
Okay, sorry.
If you do it by midnight at Pacific Standard Time, they will throw in all of these bonus trainings. And Chris and I, we keep stressing, we've never seen anybody throw in this value as a bonus for any course that we've ever taken, whether we've flown to it or invested in it. We've never had this much value ever. And I think it's awesome. I think that everybody who makes that investment in themselves in 2020 are the ones that are going to be the ones that are going to be excelling tremendously in 2021. And I know that because it's happened to Chris and I many, many times where we've made investments for ourselves, even though the timing wasn't right. Financially, it wasn't right. I remember back then, Chris, and we still did it no matter what. And we went and we came back and we were just on another planet and we just went to the next level. And a lot of people are just sitting back going, oh, wow. Oh, wow. You know, don't stay in the sideline. If you want to become a professional in our industry, it's personal development. It's learning skills and applying those skills so that you can get to the next level.
Yes, that is correct, Lucy. It is basically the Pacific time. So whatever Pacific time, 3 a.m. happens to be in whatever market, people have until then to have this for free. And folks, you know that I do not promote anything outside of Max International ever. I'm not a big fan of that because I know that there's our authorship, there's our operating costs, there's responsibility. Now there's COVID. I know there's issue with jobs and income, and this is important. This is why we spend time on this. It is very, very important. I know what this will do for you. If you want to be successful in this kind of business, you need to surround yourself with the kind of people outside of Tammy and I. We've done very well for ourselves, but we might be sounding to you like broken records. When you hear it from another point of view, it might reinforce what you've learned and you may learn something new. I mean, I built my business in the 80s, learning, through cassettes and then CDs and then DVDs, business cards. I mean, all of this stuff is ancient history now. Everything is done through social media. So I'm learning too. right? So Tammy and I are readapting and we are readjusting, right? And that's the reason I believe we've had a lot of success in this kind of business, is because we've always exposed ourselves to this kind of information. We've been doing this for years. For me, I don't even think twice about it. But I understand from your point of view, you may just want to justify the money. I need to think about it, all of this stuff. But these are all the things that will get in the way, or may get in the way of your future in the kind of income that you can get in this business. Some of you have very powerful voices, but there's some things missing. And we want you to be successful. I'm telling you, many, many folks will make a lot of money with Max International. I'd love for it to be you, but you need to develop the skills that is necessary, especially in our economy today and our environment today. The North American market, there's going to be a lot of North Americans, very wealthy people are going to be sharing how they do it in these difficult times. Don't miss this. You won't regret it. Now, after saying that, let me go ahead and change the view. And let's talk about the actual video that we talked about. And I will let Eric Worry kind of do the introduction. And before I begin here, I want to confirm, does everybody sees the screen right now? You should see, and it says, let's just see here. Let me just start the next. Okay, does everybody sees Eric Worry? I want to confirm that everybody sees that before this plays. Okay, so Paul, you say yes. Anastasia said yes. Okay, and folks, here's a good habit, right? Is to participate in the chat whenever there's questions, comments. This is all part of the success that they're teaching us, is to take action, to be part of the action and participate, right? So this also really helps as speakers, especially in the environment that we're in today. Okay, so let's watch this video. Pay attention, take some notes. And this portion will not be recorded. So I just remind myself, I got to stop the recording. Just bear with me. And pause recording.
Please don't be shy. This is how we learn. And Chris, we're gonna unmute Paul, Lucy, and Jasmine. And each one of them are gonna help the person that shared their story on from the front to the beginning, on how they could help them improve their stories, give them some ideas and some tips, and see what you like best about what they're sharing. And so we need some volunteers. Come on, guys, who wants to volunteer? Don't be shy, please, please, please. We want to be able to get you some gifts. I know that most of the people here are from Canada, US, which is easy for us to mail. And if you happen to be from another country, usually I think there might be somebody here from Africa. If you happen to volunteer, we will figure out a way to get you that book through Anne when she comes. We'll figure out how we're going to do it. So please, North Americans and whoever else is on here, let's hear your stories. So who wants to volunteer first?
Hey, Tammy, I'll go.
Hola.
So Paul, you're gonna be working with them. So I'll let you go first with Roland. Roland, you're gonna share your story. And Paul is gonna help you with your story. So Chris is gonna open that up.
Yeah, let me just find Roland here. Here you are. So Roland, you should be unmuted right now. So yes. You go ahead and you share your story.
And I forgot, we need a timer. Who wants to be the timer person with their phone with the timer? Because you have to make sure your story is done in like 2.5 minutes. So we need somebody who wants to be the timer. Who wants to get involved?
I'll be the timer. It's Jasmine. I'll be the timer.
Okay, well, let's Sue, because you're going to be helping with the process. Okay, Sue, you're the timer. All right.
Just for reference, instead of interrupting the story, because I'd like for them to finish it, because let's sometimes people take a bit longer. So what you will do is, Sue, is just put the message, a comment on the comment section, and then at this point we'll keep tab, okay? Just for the sake of not kind of interrupting the flow of the story of whoever's telling them. Sorry, Tammy, go ahead.
Okay. And Chris, sorry, it's Jasmine. Is it the goal to make that story a minute or less?
No, what we
sequence of the training.
Yeah, anywhere between a minute to 2.5 minutes. This is the ultimate goal. But I don't want you to feel handicapped and under pressure because some of you might be not as, let's say, familiar to sharing your story. So I want you to go ahead and kind of share your heart because some things could be absolutely wonderful. We just need to work it out a little bit. But I want you to be mindful of the 2.5 minutes. And Sue will notify the moment the 2.5 minutes starts. And, just kind of give an extra 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds, Sue. And I post it on the comment section. And that way, we'll be able to monitor what's going on without interrupting the flow of the story, whoever's sharing. So Roland, you go ahead.
Yes. Okay. My imaginary prospect is a fellow pastor who is also a business partner before. His name is Jerry. Okay, so here it goes. Hi, Pastor Jerry. How are you? You know what? It's been 10 years that we've been involved in network marketing together, or 20 years. And ever since I came to the US, I've been trying to look for an opportunity that I would be able to duplicate the 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 success that we had before, way back in 2000 with the Gold Quest numismatic thing. And you know what? Just this August, I was introduced to a opportunity by a friend, and the products are great. It's a product based of 25 years of research, and it's very effective. In fact, it's very effective with my wife Elma, and also with me. And so, since we came here to the U.S., we've been looking forward to an opportunity that would be our retirement exit. And so I'm sharing this to you. Um, uh, I believe that we could be successful again together, and we could look forward to our retirement years and have that residual income that we lost 20 years ago. And I'm so excited, and I wanted to show a short video that explains about the products and about the opportunity. That's it.
Well done. Well done. So Paul, what are your comments?
I thought that was a great Can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
I thought that was a great introduction. I like the way he started off there and got the relationship going and took his friend back a number of years to where he was successful and kind of painted a picture that the product and the company that he's involved with now is a wonderful opportunity with a great product, and they're going to get some success if the individual listens to Roland and takes a chance to take a look at this. So yeah, I think it was great in regards to that. The only thing, do you want me to go into a little bit of detail on what he may have missed?
Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one thing I would have done, Roland, is maybe just talk about, without mentioning the product, I would have talked about possibly what you were like before you took the product, what situation was you had from a health point of view, and then like the speaker said earlier, I can't remember his name, Pat Quinn, he said you hit a pivotal point. And I think it's important to bring up that pivotal point and say, you know what, when I started taking these products, my health started to improve, yada, yada, yada. And I can see myself in the future doing this, this, and this. So I think that was missing a little bit, but I think the beginning and the introduction and the fact that you got this individual probably interested in working with you was very effective.
That's wonderful. And Roland, if I may just add, I think it's a good idea at the beginning not to mention company names. Just for the sake of sometimes people may make an uneducated decision very quickly, just on an opinion, without really knowing what they're dealing with, what they're talking about. That's what Pat Quinn mentioned, is not to mention names in the first initial. So you share your story and it's more of connecting with the person. But like Paul said, I think you did absolutely phenomenal. Okay, beautiful. Now let's move on to the next one. Tammy, go ahead.
All right. So I believe Marie Paul who was the next one here that volunteered?
Yeah, I see Marie Paul, and it looks like Marielle, she put an S for share, and then Janet Moriami.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so Lucy?
Okay.
You're on board to give her some some support. And Marie Paul, Chris, did you unmute her?
Yeah, I'm just looking. Here we go. Sometimes it's you have to dig. Okay, Mary Paul, you should be. Here we go. Okay, go ahead, please.
Okay, and Sue, are you ready?
Yes, ready or not, we're going. All right, so I'm approaching a first responder, either a police officer, a nurse, or someone in the law enforcement or first responder field. And hi, how you doing? You know, how long have you worked in your field? And then they say whatever. And then we talk for a little bit. We share common interests or common stories about work and all that. And then I says, is that okay if I share my story with you of what happened to me? And he would say, well, yeah. And then we look, and then, you know, I've worked for over 33 years, actually 33 years, as a security professional on Parliament Hill in Ottawa. And for many years, I work on hard marble floors, and it really hurt your back. But over the years, I've had a number of injuries while on duty, and that really ruined my career. It gave me, or I kept having pain in my back and my joints and whatnot. And it really ruined my life because I couldn't do the sports that I enjoy doing. I couldn't, I enjoyed martial arts. I enjoy mountain climbing and all the extreme sports. They were things that I enjoyed to do. And now I can't do that. However, I was introduced to a company and a product that really changed my life in that respect. It didn't cure me of anything because my injuries were permanent. However, it made my pain tolerable. It reduced the inflammation that I had in my body, that I have in my body, to make it more manageable. And now, you know what it did also? It told me that it was time for me to look at different activities that are more gentle for my body as I age. And now I find, yes, I can't do the martial arts and I can't do the things, but I could do modified yoga and I could do different things as long as I'm careful how I move. And so this made a shift in my mind as to what I can do, and with the right things to support your body, it would really make the future more promising, and I would age with less issues. So is this something that you feel that you've lived through some pain through to work? Have you ever injured yourself at work? And I think I'm going to stop here.
Well done. That's really good. Lucy, go ahead, please. What are your comments?
Very good, because she's there since a long time, and we are talking about making stories since a long time. Except maybe because I liked that you used what he proposed to let me, and then you announce just like you are going to tell him a secret. That's nice, and but it's nice to know if he have. Because have you seen the guy? He have lots of story prepared. So, and often we will choose the story that answer the problem of the person. So it would be nice that you know if he was injured before.
Okay, so that would be in the you know, getting to know the person.
Yeah, you need to know the person and what is his problem. So he have back injuries. Then you said, my goodness.
So your story is going to change based on what the story is going to tell you.
Because you have injuries, but you have other things also that the product brought you, or the opportunity. So following, because he said he have a website. He said he had lots of story in his napkin, in his journal. So we need to have more than one story following the person we have to talk to, because he said that when he have a presentation to do, he look in his story, he choose one for the beginning and one for the closing. So, but for the first, what we really need, it's to know what is the need. And when we have the need, we bring the story, because this story that you bring is very powerful.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I agree with that. If I also may add, what's important also is the duplication process on showing someone else on how to construct your story. So my recommendation, Marie-Paul, is you were doing kind of a role playing, which is very realistic. And when you do your story, my suggestion is try to go with the flow of, you know, before the transition and then how things are now. And I know you went a little bit longer. I think we went over 3 minutes, 15 seconds or so. But then again, that's because of the role playing, right? Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I've learned is as you learn how to share your story, which I know you've been doing this, it's also sharing and passing it on to someone else. And I think it's important to have a flow. And the one thing I can stress is not just you, Marie-Paul, this is to everybody in general. Your story is your foundation. It's the I can't say anything that's more representative of the foundation of your enterprise. So your story has to flow. It has to be comfortable. And when you hesitate, and again, it's because of the role playing and everything else, then what's happening is you're creating kind of maybe doubts or not sure, you know, things like this. And I know, Marie-Paul, you have a very, very compelling story. So that is just, again, it's just to compress it and to try to get a nice flow. And of course, there's a product story, there's an opportunity story. You can even mix both, and that will come with the experience. But you did very well, Marie-Paul. Thank you for sharing. Next one, Tammy.
All right. So who else?
It looks like it's Mirielle, Mimi.
Mimi.
She wrote in.
Okay, Mimi.
Okay,
right.
Mimi.
Mirielle, it'll say Mirielle.
Okay, Muriel, you're up. Where's Chris? Do you have it?
I'm looking for Marielle. Phone. Marielle, maybe it's you have a number? No? Marielle, why don't you just,
did we lose her?
Hang on, let me look and see if she's.
I don't see her right now. So I don't want to take too much time because it's already 8:59.
Let's start with Janet.
Okay, let's go on to Janet.
We'll see if
she is. I'm going to unmute Janet. Okay, Janet, you should be able to unmute yourself. You just need to respond to my request to unmute yourself.
It's 9 o'clock.
Thanks for sharing.
Sorry, my computer is programmed. I forgot how I set it up. It's been done like years ago. Okay, you know what, Janet? I put you as a co-host, so you should be able to unmute yourself because I've not been able to unmute you.
Can you hear me?
Ah, here we go. Beautiful. Okay, and who's commenting on Janet, Tammy?
It's Jasmine's turn.
Jasmine, okay, got you.
Okay,
All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Janet.
Okay, in 2015, I was bitten by a tick, and as a result, I contacted Lyme disease. And for 2 years, I felt chronically ill, couldn't get out of bed, and had little quality of life. I visited over a dozen doctors and health practitioners with no answers. And I felt helpless. Now, my pivotal point is I was introduced to a company with a technology that transitioned and transformed my health. I have a great quality of life. I'm working, I'm helping others get well, I'm running, and I'm surrounded by like-minded people within this company that advocate health. And as I was feeling helpless before, I'm feeling very hopeful, and I hope to bring hope to others as well. That's it.
Beautiful. It's really good. Jess?
Awesome. So Janet, the first thing that I want to say is that your background was very descriptive. You gave a great description of what your life was like since you got that tick bite. in 2015, and I can hear how tired you were. Just when you did, I can hear when you had that pivotal point that there were huge changes and improvements in your life. I don't know if I would say the word pivotal. I would just say this is, I started taking something and this is what happened. And I really got that your helplessness turned to hopefulness. And it was great because of your description. The only thing I'm going to say is I think you were reading it. I would like to, because I know your story, like it flows through your veins. I'd like to hear you say that one day, that you just say it. There's no piece of paper in front of you. That's how it's going to land for me, that it's really, really real. And it's not a script. So you know what I told you before, get in front of a mirror, say it out loud and keep saying it. And you don't even have to think it. Because remember, Pat Quinn said, you won't think it. It'll just come out of you and flow. But very descriptive, good words. Just get it to the point where you're not reading it, because I know you don't have to read that at all.
I just tried to keep it short because I do know my story, but I might go over 2 minutes.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And that's perfect, because now you're taking your story and you're condensing it. And then now just get that to the point, because you're right. I've heard that story also, a longer version. So well done.
Yeah, what I really like, Janet, is and you come across as so genuine and even cute, like you have this innocence about you that immedially takes your guards down. You know what I mean? And I've seen you invite people all the time at meetings. I've seen how effective you are in inviting people. And I can see why now, because you come across as genuine and very, very innocent, right? And I know that your script was, as Jasmine was sharing, to keep it within the time frame, and I know that's why. But it's also a good example, everybody, because I know many of you, I'm hoping all of you will actually work on your story as of tonight. This is critical. And the more your story flows like oxygen, like you're breathing oxygen, it's people, I'm telling you, they will gravitate towards you. Because let's face it, we can't say Lyme disease, but you can say I've been, bit by a tick and I've been having these issues, blah, blah, blah. And what I mean? And something was presented to me that has completely changed my situation. And also, one thing I do recommend is, I didn't say you said it, Janet, it's just for future reference for others. When you say something change your life, immediately people's red flag come up, so we don't want to say change my life. It has been so impactful, has made such an impact in my life, right? People will relate to that. But when you say change my life, sometimes people tend to feel really that, so it's just choice of words. And I don't think you said that, Janet, but it's just important to keep that in mind. Network marketing, it's an environment where people look at it as a stigma often, and they look for excuses to kind of brush you off or whatever. And when you are genuine yourself and it flows naturally and you're comfortable sharing it, all of the skepticism tends to disappear. And what's the word that I use this afternoon, Tammy? Authenticity, right? It elevates your story.
Authenticity.
Yeah, well, my
authentic.
You know what I mean, everybody.
Yes.
So what's happening here is that it helps in elevating the credibility of your story, right? So I just wanted to add this, as I know that all of you are going to be working. But Janet, it was fantastic. Marie-Paul, thank you very, very much. You did very, very well. And I know who was the story. Roland. And did I miss anybody? I think we got.
No, that's
There
it.
were three.
And it's Janet. I just want to say that was amazingly powerful that you got all that out in 1 minute and 5 seconds. Susan just posted. That's a lot. That rocked. Well done.
Yeah. So I noticed, Rob, that your hand has been lifted for a long time. I apologize. I didn't notice it before. I'm going to unmute you and we'll finish on your, if you have any questions, I want to make sure that it's being addressed.
If anybody else wants to share their story, got some books.
Well, it is 9:06, Tammy. I do want to respect everybody's time, but You and I could stay up all night. We eat, live, breathe this stuff, but I want to respect everybody's time. Is William still? Okay, William here. So William, I'm not going to put you on the spot, buddy. I know you're new, and I know tomorrow we're going to be talking about this. Take notes of what's been going on here tonight, because tomorrow when you and I speak, we're going to be talking about some of those details, because I know your story is going to be the foundation of your organization and the business that you're going to be building. So I'm glad that you took this seriously and you're moving forward with the activities.
William, you have such a powerful story. Just leverage your story and you're going to attract a lot of people, because everybody is concerned about this issue in the environment. And the fact that you went through it with flying colors because you were on the products is just so powerful. And you don't even have to say the word. I mean, people understand it. Right?
Yeah. Because sorry, Tammy, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So in general, I just want to say thanks to Roland and Marie Paul and Janet, because this is not easy. I mean, you're doing this through a crowd, and you're not really talking to a person. You're trying to make up a scenario, right? So it'll always be comfortable when you're connecting with people, and make it very casual, comfortable, and very connective, and make sure the authenticity is there. You don't have to make things bigger than what it is. Just be yourself. I think that's the key thing, because they're buying you first. Okay. And people can relate to a lot of things that are going on in the environment today. So these are the greatest stories to lead with. And often when something comes into the conversation where they're suffering with something, then you can kind of, like Lucy said, it was perfect. Then you can shift to another story and shift to another story. Because I've done this many times in my prospecting, where it starts here. There was another story in there because I just found out they had an accident. They fell off the roof and broke some bones. Well, I'm going into the next story about Chris's broken shoulder and Danielle's broken ankle. And right away, she was on board. But that was in the conversation, right? So you have to really be a great listener. You have to be engaged and make it all about your prospect and less about you and your story. Just try and create that relativity throughout the whole process. And I'm telling you, it's like fishing, right? You want to give them the bait that they want to hear. And how do you do that? You do it by listening to them and hearing about what's going on in their life. And you find a way to bring that into how you have the answer. You're there to solve their problem. Okay. And that's what's the most important thing. Because if you start talking about something that it's done for you and they can't relate to it, you'll lose them. Right? So you want to make sure that there's a connection there, and it's about them more than anything. And eventually your story is going to come into it too. I mean, there's often that my story doesn't even come in, my own personal story. Maybe like if I can connect well with a woman who's maybe being a single mom, I mean, her and I are going to totally connect. But I talked to somebody like, who's an engineer. I can't relate to that. So I'm going to listen to find out what their challenges are. And then I'm going to bring another story into the picture. So I hope you're understanding the concept of really how it works. You're fishing, okay? And you're fishing and you're finding out what it is that's hurting on their end, and bring the stories in. Like Lucy said, like Pat Quinn said, there's going to be many stories. We are storytellers. Network marketers, the ones who are the best storytellers with truth, okay? Make sure if you do tell a story, you can actually verify that story and use somebody as a third-party validation.
Perfect.
I do this all the time.
Perfect. So folks, you're here tonight. Really appreciate your time. And if I may suggest here, work on your story. Your story is the foundation of your enterprise. It's absolutely critical. And as you move on with all the courses that are going to be revealed, even from now until the event with the virtual event with GoPro, We will give you a lot of knowledge and information to help you, but you got to do the homework. You have to do the homework. Your story is the foundation of your enterprise. Please take the time to do this so it flows. Repeat it, repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. I cannot stress that's enough. So at this point, folks, we're going to unmute everybody and ask to unmute all. And let's end the call on this note. So.